furiouslycurious.co. Question for you, Gary.
Yeah.
You've often taught me, be broken, weep.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Why do you
Well, that's a heavy question right out of the gate. Because most of us are just trying desperately to hold it together when inside we're dying, and we'll never, ever, ever be okay if we're not okay with not being okay. So most people are, to some degree, obviously people are very all the way across on the spectrum of emotional health, but most people have some stuff they need to work through, and rather than just be broken before God, they tend to just try harder, cling tighter to their own willpower to figure it out. I mean, we all do it. I do it. Even though I know better, even though I give lectures to you, it's still very hard to just come to the end of myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're supposed to be in that posture, I think. I think as people, we're healthier when we're that way. And it's funny, this will come out obviously after Freedom Session grad, but one of the things I talked about for people that were graduating was just the idea of like, just be honest, like, just say like, hey, there's some things I'm still really sucking at, but this is the area where God's helped me. And I think that people don't want to do that, even though it's just such a blessing, even to those around them. Like, obviously, everyone around us in our inner circle knows that we're struggling if we're being at all authentic, right? So I just think that for you and for me, with our character and how proud we are and how determined we are, we'll often fight when really the best way to win the war is to give up, especially when, we just need to depend on God. And I've had those experiences myself in the last few weeks where I feel like I've run on self-will and then just kind of come to the end of myself and thought, boy, like I'm like literally physically crashing here, like health-wise, because I'm just trying to do too much. And it's not what I'm called to do. I'm not called to do all these things, right? And because I haven't spent enough time praying about it. So I feel like my general sense is that, and I meet so many, mostly guys, obviously basically all guys, at least one-on-one anyways. And they're all just trying to do the right thing. They're trying, like, most men want to be a good husband if they're a husband. Like most, like even if they're doing horrible things, nobody wants to, I'm a shitty husband.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody's signing up to be that, and vice versa. Even as a wife, like most women probably want to be good wives, I would assume, right? I know for sure mine does. And then when they're struggling in an area, if they're not vulnerable about it, quickly, like if you don't let your guard, if you don't think you can trust enough to let your guard down, then pretty soon it's fictitious. The relationship's fictitious, right? So.
Does being broken or admitting that still scare you? Because I have it that I resist it. Like I the reason I brought it up is in the last week, like I felt myself. I was talking to a guy and I was just really struggling and I could just tell I was just trying to hold on
and not break down.
That's
just our culture, right?
I think it's our culture. I think just men in general.
I can't speak for other cultures, I guess, but in our culture, most men are not that emotional. And like sadness is like literally just a normal emotion. But like how often are we sad?
Yeah.
Or you just consider it some sign of weakness to be like emotional or sad, or like no, like it's just the beautiful thing. So I don't know. I don't do it enough either.
What do you mean? What's enough? Like how often?
Well, it'll be different for every person.
Like just weeping.
Not very often lately, but I sometimes every month or every few weeks. Like if I'm in probably a healthier season where I'm just like more self-aware and just allow myself to get to that spot. Obviously there's times you have to hold it together and there's people that depend on you and you can't be, but I don't know, even in our house, sometimes I'll be like, if I'm hanging out with my kids and I'm struggling, I'll be like, man, I just need to have a good cry, right? Like, I don't know. I grew up where I never saw men cry ever. I mean, I don't know. So I just think, and why is that? Well, because it's just man up. That's where the term comes from, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean even? Like, maybe
man
man up means just crying.
Did Jesus not man up when he cried every time? He cried a lot.
Cried a lot. Yeah, he wept, right? So anyways.
Okay.
Be curious to do a poll. I love the polls, right? But I'd be curious to do a poll of men and women listeners, to like the listeners of this podcast. How many people cry once a month or once a year?
I'll do a poll. I'll do it on
do the fork.
Spotify. If you listen to this on Spotify, over half listen on Spotify.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
So go underneath there. And,
this came up yesterday with somebody that had listened randomly. I think they quit listening now, which is fine. But she was asking, the lady was asking, can you see who's on Apple Podcasts? Can you see how many people are listening on that platform? Because you can't see how many times it's been played. Like Spotify, you can say.
Yeah, Spotify, my Spotify, where I upload on Spotify, that pushes it to the other platforms. will tell me what percentages go to Apple, what percentages other
So you can see through Spotify actually how many times the Apple podcast listen to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.